That
Adrian.
shirt, Adrian, has a Prism logo on it.
Oh, it is. Good. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to take just a moment and distribute the stream on Facebook so that if you're on Facebook, you can't avoid us. That's the distribution model. You can't avoid us. Isn't that a heck of a good distribution model? TWiRT, you can't avoid us.
Can't get away.
Do a like and share that. So far, Marianne hasn't joined us. Do you figure she will or figure she won't?
She's busy right now on some other issues that she's got. So
okay. Okay.
I wonder if I have a longer. I guess I'll just stay right here. Oh, man, there's something up on my shelf for Kirk.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm here. You see that cup right over my head?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to look right now. If you're talking to me,
it's okay.
I'll be able to look in just a minute.
You'll see it later. Your logo is right there on my shelf.
Really? You mean the cup I gave you, the little tin cup?
The cup you gave me, yeah.
Isn't it like a tin cup?
It is like a tin cup. It's pretty cool, and I'm grateful. Thank you for the gift.
Oh.
And speaking of gifts, I'm expecting one of those Prism logoed shirts at some point.
In the mail, buddy.
Great, thank you. Because I'm a fan.
Hope so.
Okay, I think I have this shared out everywhere it's supposed to be. Bueno. All right, now, Catfish, let me get back to the of the 73 tabs I have open. Which one? Oh, there you are. Yes, I see the TWiRT cup back there. We need a spotlight on that. It's in the dark. I like your book, Noise Reduction Techniques in Electronic Systems. Spray it with freeze spray. That'll cut the noise.
That's a classic.
Oh, it's time.
That's Henry Ott, I think, isn't it?
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me get my.
That's a classic book.
Let me get my stuff in front of me here. We'll do introductions, and we'll take our first break, pretty early, so we can have plenty of time to. Adrian, do you have? We talked about maybe sharing some screenshots or pictures. Didn't hear from you. Do you have any ideas on sharing anything?
I've got a couple. Yeah. I'd be happy to at a later point in the show. Sure, no problem.
Well, again, the only good way we have to share things on the show is if they are in Suncast's hands.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you have a picture or a screenshot, you could email it to me, or Suncast, could he email it to you?
I could just do a reply all. I can do a PDF right now in like 2 seconds. No problem.
Okay. That would be
hardware
excellent.
In there, Adrian, or do you want me to send it?
What's that?
You have the hardware in there, or do you want me to send it?
I've got the hardware apps. It's the first slide, buddy. It's the first slide.
Look at you. Okay.
Of course, when Suncast full screens me, I've got a Prism right here behind me. Let's see if I get the mic out of the way. There we go.
Yeah.
Then you can see the normally I have the durometers on my mic, but There's the durometers on the prism right there.
Nice. Okay,
Yes,
I just emailed over to you guys.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Suncast, can you grab whatever's in there in that email? Alrighty. No. I want it before. Too slow. Yeah, we'll watch for it here. All right. While we're watching for it, let's start the show. Hey, everybody. It's about 2 minutes after the hour, and we're ready to do This Week in Radio Tech, episode number 789, here for the end of February 2026. And we will start our show. We'll start our show in 3, 2. Hey, welcome into This Week in Radio Tech, the show where we talk about everything from the microphone to that light bulb from the top of the tower. Hi there, I'm Kirk Harnack, and I'm delighted that you've joined us. We've got a fun topic today, one that should be enlightening and really, not only future looking, but something that's available basically now. And we're going to see this implemented across our industry. So that's the tease. You got to stay tuned for a minute to watch what it is. Let's bring in. We got two guests today. First of all, Adrian Berkovitz. He is the founder of a company called Adventure 33. Adrian, good to see you. Welcome in.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
You're coming to us from Toronto, right?
Sure am. Yeah.
Good. And our other guest, a face and a voice we've seen and heard before. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my friend and yours, Michael Dosh. He's the founder of Angry Audio. Michael, welcome in.
Well, thank you, Kirk. Thanks for having me. And I hope I haven't been on so much that I've saturated your audience with my presence.
I don't think so. I think I'm guilty of that. That's my problem. And you're both here for a specific reason. Adrian, give us the elevator pitch about what we're going to be seeing in the next hour.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about a product that I created with an incredible team. It's been 2 years in the making of like 18-hour days. It's called Prism, and it's basically designed to deliver audio to affiliates in a matter of IP audio. So it's like a satellite replacement technology at the end of the day. It's purpose-built. It's an ecosystem where the hardware and the portal and all the intelligence inside all talk in a complete harmony together. So in my view, I think it's where the industry has to go. IP is really here to stay, and it's actually proved itself, as we all know, right? So that's what we've been up to.
In fact, I want to emphasize, because we're going to be studying this after our first spot break. You mentioned it's an ecosystem, and as broadcast engineers, we are so accustomed to learning about dealing with typically a new box. And that's the be all end all. Whatever this box is, the technology inside of it, usually connects a couple things together and does something that needs to get done. And through your 18-hour days, you've been working out an entire ecosystem. Yeah, there's a box involved or not, and then there's a whole management infrastructure so that people who use this have the ability to manage it. And it's really clever's not the right word. It's really smart design. I've gotten a little peek into this, and we're going to give you guys a peek into the tent as well. Mike Dosh is with us. Mike, why are you here? What's your participation in this Adventure 33 and Prism?
Well, I have the good fortune of having been invited by Adrian to be the hardware partner. So Angry Audio manufactures the endpoints for the system, the audio interfaces. So the encoders, the decoders, and we'll talk about that. We'll look at them very specifically, but we're the hardware part of the ecosystem.
All right, and I think Mike Dosh knows a little bit about hardware because Mike, I can't count the number of devices that I have held in my hands or sold or bought or installed or configured that were something that Mike Dosh did.
Thank you, Kirk. And if you see the gray beard, you understand.
That's
Right?
why. That's why.
Been,
Yeah,
been
you
around
got
a
a lot of
minute. Yeah.
you got a lot of gray for a 41-year-old man.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to be talking to Adrian and Mike Dosh coming up in the next few minutes. Real quick, let's get our sponsor message in, and that's from our friends at AIR, AIIR.com. I'm excited. I'm going to be standing right next to them, and maybe I'll hop over into their booth at the NAB show. So we're going to hear from AIR, and here's a little word from Ricky Lee. Hey, it's Kirk Harnack, and I'm here with Ricky Lee, the CEO of AIR. Ricky, you guys make a fantastic automation system, but streaming is a really big deal. Tell me about streaming with AIR.
It really is. We've got a beautiful streaming platform with an incredible dashboard with fantastic analytics. And you can buy it for just $20 a month. All you can eat. No limits on bandwidth or bit rates. And you can also record shows as well. So if you like to deliver on-demand content for $20 a month, you can stream and deliver that on-demand content to an RSS feed that can feed your radio player, your mobile apps, or a podcast that people can download and enjoy.
Now, $20 a month, that must be for just some slow MP3, right?
No, MP3, AAC, and we also now support HLS, which is big in the industry right now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. How do I start to explore or find out more about streaming through AIR?
You go to air.com, AIIR.com/streaming, and from there, with a credit card, you can sign up and get started.
AIR does streaming. They do content management for your station website, and of course, broadcast automation systems. And I happen to have about 21 of those at 21 stations in the U.S. and in American Samoa. Delighted with them. And interestingly, Adrian is going to be filling us in a little bit on some interactivity between Prism or Adventure 33 and Prism and AIR. So we'll have that coming up a little bit later in the show. All right. I'm Kirk Harnack in Nashville, Tennessee, This Week in Radio Tech. And Adrian, why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about you? I think most of my audience has never met you before, never heard you before. And you told me about a service you've been offering for years called Lean Stream. So you do know something about the internet and audio, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I co-founded a streaming company, I would say back in 2011, 2012. And we've expanded across, really every continent in the world. We've done really well. And throughout that experience, as a chief technology officer, I learned a lot and been dealing with engineers for a long time now. And kept hearing a story about how distribution is very complicated, very outdated, expensive. And I had a graceful exit from the company 2 years ago, and I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do next in my life, honestly. I needed a challenge. And on my signature of my card, it says problem solver. That's really all I am. I love to solve problems. It gives me a very large adrenaline rush. And I started to look at that problem of satellite delivery and really everything around it. And I felt in my gut that it's something that needs to get resolved over the next little while. Like if you zoom out 10 years into the future, everything is completely going to be IP based. It already is, right? Like it already is. But it's getting to a point now where older technology and, in a legacy way is getting very outdated. It's expensive to run, as I said, and highly complicated. So I'm always of the challenge in my brain to try and make a complicated architecture extremely easy to use, really simple. Love them or hate them, I love Apple. And they've done a good job of really amalgamating the hardware and the software together. I mentioned a bit earlier, it's an ecosystem. And I got inspired by that. So I took a long, hard look with the background that I've got in architecture. I've been a solution architect for 3 decades now. And took a look at how do we deliver audio in a reliable way, not only in private IP networks, but over the internet. The internet is now in a mature stage of life, in my opinion, and I feel like audio distribution can be done now in a reliable way over the internet. Also private IP as well, but over the internet was the challenge. So I mentioned before, there's 18 hours of 18 people of over 18 months. So uh, that's what I've been up to. And now I'm very happy to announce that Prism is live. We just went with our early adopters from last year, and we just launched about a week ago. And it's going really, really well. And be happy to go through the details and anything you'd like to talk about. It'd be amazing.
So, Mike Dosh suggested that we change the format of the show a little bit to a party format, a retirement party. Mike, would you tell me exactly what you're talking about? A retirement party.
Well, when Adrian told me what he was cooking up, and it's amazing. I mean, we're going to get into it in a minute, but the whole idea of taking a broadcast show, a program, and distributing it to 100 or 1,000 or optimistically 10,000 affiliates is not a small thing, and this has been the domain of satellite technology for decades, and satellite has done a fantastic job of this. So, one thing that I'm a little sensitive to is, we've got this system that's better than satellite. Well, there's not too many people that are complaining about satellite. So if we're going to make that claim, it really had better be better than satellite in many ways on pretty much every level, but particularly reliability. And so rather than say satellite is no good and this is better, we wanted to kind of send it off in a very positive way and say, well, this is as we introduce Prism, we're going to hold a retirement party for satellite because it's time, to upgrade this to the next thing, but to give it a great send off, including, balloons and streamers and gold watches and a big cake that says, congratulations on your retirement. So that was it. That was the idea. And thanks for sharing that. So now it won't be a surprise.
So we're it sounds like we're talking about an audio distribution method, and I assume it includes contact closures. I don't know, maybe metadata can go along for the ride.
Yes.
Is Prism a solution for the kind of networks that we're accustomed to, whether it's sports or news networks or long form programming? Is that kind of the first replacement goal?
Kirk, that's exactly it. It's meant to be a drop-in replacement. So all the connectors in the back of the box are the same. You literally plug it in, turn it on, and you get your actual program, and you walk away. That's it. Like, it's really easy. You just plug it in.
And well, we all know that satellite distribution involves coded audio. I take it Prism distribution also involves coded audio. It's not linear, but are there some choices in bit rates and audio coding algorithms? In other words, if I'm a network and I choose the audio quality that I want to distribute.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's a good point. We're agnostic to the codec and to the bit rate. So it's really up to the client, to the needs that they have. You can do like AEC 320. You could do Opus. You could do FLAC. You could do whatever you want, really. Again, we're completely agnostic to the actual codec and or format or the bit rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's no problem.
Well, Kirk, you said a moment ago it's not linear, but there's actually no technical reason, other than internet quality, why it couldn't be linear. So, as Adrian said, it's agnostic, but it really could be any codec format, and that's going to be determined by the program originator, broadcaster.
Okay,
it's a good point.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. We actually already have a PCM operating, linear. And to Catfish's point, we need, the connection to the internet has to be pretty good, or it could be a private SD-WAN or what have you. But PCM linear, it's no problem as long as you've got the pipe.
with dealing with codecs, and I've dealt with codecs for years and years and years. Of course, first ISDN codecs, and then IP codecs, and IP first over leased lines, and then over the public internet, and then you start getting into dual path, where you have some redundancy. But one of the problems with traditional codecs has been, especially if you're doing a point to point, or maybe even a point to multi-point setup, all the receivers, all the ones that are receiving the stream, the IP stream, you've got to provide. In most cases, you've had to provide a clear path, fixed IP address, and maybe a port forward through a firewall to get to hit that codec with the information. I've certainly had to set up a lot of those. Always taking into account, well, gee, I'm opening a port on my firewall. There's lots of mitigating things. You make sure that port isn't also, when you design the product, you make sure that the audio receiving port is not the one that gives you the user interface, right? You can't log into the port that you're receiving audio packets on. But I've got a Prism box right over here, and I put this in the rack here about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And, I didn't have to open a port on my router, and yet it's receiving all kinds of audio. Adrian, what's going on? Why can this receive network audio from several different locations? And you've sent me Canadian radio stations and sports broadcasts and other things, along with contact closures, and I don't have to open a port. What's the technology that's going on here?
Right. So the way we're doing it is, again, I go back to the architecture head, where I wanted to do the exact opposite. So meaning we don't have to push audio. The receivers are actually pulling audio. So they're pulling from available locations that it knows, right, in the architecture, and it just goes and finds it. And it doesn't really care about the port number. Obviously, it's using a port number, but the data is inbound. So typically, you don't even have to have a port actually opened at all. So, for example, I took a big, I went away on vacation in the wintertime, and I brought a smaller version of the unit because I couldn't really carry the entire thing. So I brought a smaller version of it. I put it into the router of the hotel room, and within half a minute, I was already feeding audio. So
yeah. Actually, let me bring up an analogy, because plenty of broadcast engineers are familiar with the idea of SIP phones, and the SIP phone is programmed, where to go find its SIP PBX on the internet, and so I can take this SIP phone and plug it in literally anywhere that, even if it's, proper, of course, behind a firewall, it gets a DHCP address on the LAN, and then it goes and says, hey, I need to, just like a computer goes to a website, the SIP phone goes out and through DNS locates the SIP server that it's supposed to register with, and it does. And then because it pings it every now and then, it keeps a port open. It's a dynamic port, and it can receive the audio. Well, it seems to me the Prism system operates in a very similar fashion. You plug the Prism in, and you've already programmed this thing enough to where it goes and finds its server, if you will, and says, here I am, port's open. What have you got for me? Am I describing that sort of right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's exactly it. So within, I can get into the details a bit of it. So we've got a portal and a dashboard where the network would log into. They would assign an affiliate a receiver, right? It's got a unique it's got a unique ID on it. You put in the ID, you attach the program that you want, and then you ship it out, and that's it. And then what happens is, because our service isn't actually relying, and this is another point I really wanted to hone in on, we're not just hosting this on something like AWS. I've got enough experience, and my team that's incredible has enough experience to know that on the public internet, we cannot just rely on a single vendor. You just can't do that. We've partnered with 3 cloud providers GCP, Azure, and AWS, and 2 other dedicated providers that are non-cloud, where we have dedicated server racks. So it's all combined together, almost like a mesh. And when the receiver is plugged in, it calls home to the mesh, and it knows exactly what to do. It's just getting instructions. That's all it is. So in a former legacy world, you would maybe expect to log into a physical receiver or log into an endpoint and be able to provide all your details, all the relay closure mappings and all that stuff, right? But in this case, you don't have to. There's no need to actually log into the box itself. All you do is you log into the dashboard in the portal, give it the parameters that you need, hit save, and the box takes it immediately.
Gotcha. That sounds more and more like what, if you're into telephony at all, you know that there are certainly phone systems, and they typically use a particular brand and model of phone, where the administrator of the phone system can go and describe the behavior that they want the boss's phone to have versus the front office secretary's phone to have versus a road warrior, what that person's phone is going to look like, or his soft phone. So this sounds pretty similar, that you've programmed, or whoever is the network has programmed the behavior that they want. Hey, when this unit calls in, give it these networks, these shows, and these contact closures, and that's what this is going to pick up. Am I about right there?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it goes beyond. I always love actually pushing the envelope. And and my team, I keep I refer to them. They're incredible. We always think about new ways of doing things and pushing the envelope of making things better. I'm always of the mind of, okay, we built a thing. It's great. It's not good enough, though. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing and pushing. So we made the entire portal role permissions based. So what that really means is the view that a client admin would have is completely different from the view that a support person would have, or a board operator would have, or a local affiliate engineer would have. Everyone has different permissions. So they're allowed to touch and do different things. Like, for example, the client admin would be able to create all the endpoints, all the networks. And the local engineer, really, they just need to plug it in, and they would be able to take the programming essentially that they want, unless the network actually determines the program that they have to get. So there's that also. There's a twist on that as well. And if the engineer wants to change their output channels, they can do that too. They want to change closures. It's just a drop down. I've got a screen I'll show you afterwards, but it's just a drop down that you hit save and the box takes it immediately. Like, that's literally a 2-second adjustment. So it's permissions based, essentially.
Cool. Okay. All right. I'm starting to get a picture of well, we've got some actual photos and drawings coming up here right after the break, and also Mike Dosh is going to get a chance to tell us about the hardware. Although, Mike, I'm looking at this hardware, and it looks very Dosh-like, very Angry Audio-like. Why does this satellite receiver replacement known as Prism look like something that you would make?
I don't know, Kirk. I think everything I make looks like something I would make. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. by the way, go ahead. No,
well,
you go. I promise.
It was a fun project to design, and I mean, Adrian had a lot to do with what it looks like. I mean, I haven't worked with any partners quite like Adrian. He and I really click. And so, he's got artistic ideas and design ideas and execution ideas, and it's just really a blast. It's really a privilege, actually, to be the hardware partner on this. And we'll talk about it after the break.
Yeah,
we'll talk
we're gonna look at hardware details and some more of the design, including I want to mention a couple things before you think you know about this yet, fellow engineers. It's an IP replacement for satellite. It offers main and backup power. That's pretty significant. So you got a spare power, an extra redundant power supply going on. It has A and B internet paths. We'll talk about the details on that later. But if you want to provide a second internet path, whether that's Max Connect or Starlink or just another feed into the building, you've got that. And it's really simple to use. And it's the the GPIO plug on the back. Yeah, it's the same one with the same pinouts that you're already using. So there's a lot of cool things going on here. Okay, our show This Week in Radio Tech. I'm Kirk Harnack. Adrian Berkovitz is with us from Adventure 33 with this Prism product. And Mike Dosh is here from Angry Audio with this Prism product. We're going to talk more about that. Our show is brought to you in part by Broadcast Bionics and their fabulous, really cool, easy to implement Caller One phone system for broadcast. Let's check it out.
Caller One is the talk show system that anyone can use and everyone can afford. Live radio thrives on listener engagement, and phone calls play a crucial role by bringing real-time interaction, authenticity, and a true sense of community. But with the rising costs of traditional phone lines, broadcasters need to migrate to SIP. But this has been complex and expensive until now. Caller One makes your move to SIP easy, enabling you to save on line rental and improve call quality, while at the same time integrating seamlessly with your existing hardware and workflows. With Caller One's intuitive browser interface, you can answer, screen, and route calls to air from any device anywhere on the network, eliminating the need for expensive dedicated hardware. And it integrates seamlessly with the IP or analog console you already have. It's quick and easy to add notes and flags to callers. And with its built-in database, you can view call history and previous call notes all on one screen. As well as smooth call handling, Caller One records an isolated feed of the caller and presenter for every call, allowing rapid editing and repurposing of content for trails, podcasts, or social media. Flexible licensing allows you to choose 3, 6, or 12 lines, which can even be shared with a second studio. Make the switch to SIP with Caller One for a subscription that is less than the price of the daily coffee run. Get started today at bionics.co.uk/Caller One.
Really cool and a great way to get into or replace a system you already have for putting callers on the air. Thanks a lot, Broadcast Bionics. They also make, remember, the virtual rack. We'll be talking about that in an upcoming episode. Virtual rack. This Week in Radio Tech, our 789th episode. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, go ahead and click the like button. That'd be great. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate that. And if you're going to NAB, come out and see us. We're going to be doing the show live on Tuesday at NAB, whatever the Tuesday is, whatever that date is. We'll be doing the show live at the Max Connect booth. So please come by and join us for that. You can clap or sing along or throw tomatoes, whatever your heart's desire. All right, it's Kirk Harnack along with Adrian Berkovitz and Mike Dosh. And Adrian, I think we ought to probably get into the document that you sent, the pictures and graphics. I'd like, me as an engineer, I got to see what's going on here. So and Mike Dosh, please, this is your design, so feel free to jump in. Suncast?
Yeah, the one thing.
Great. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. The one thing I did want to mention was for Mike Dosh and everybody to know that he's just been a joy to work with. He's smarter than he thinks he is. Amazing designer, amazing product guy, and we drive each other crazy in the healthiest way. It's been
was that smart? Was that smarter than he looked? Was that what you said? I missed a little bit of that. He's got a face for radio too.
You're very humble, but it's been a joy.
Right, so
I can hardly wait to share this.
Okay, so let's Suncast. Can you put that picture up there? And so
there we go.
I'm blushing here. I'm embarrassed. This is the hardware device. It's one hardware device, so I don't want anybody to think that this is the last device. So this is an example of a decoder. This particular one is quad, It will do 4 simultaneous programs. We'll just go through the front part first here. On the far left, you've got headphone monitoring. Whatever program you've selected on the screen automatically switches to the headphones. So whatever program tab is active is also what's being listened to on the phone. So it's very intuitive. You just scroll through it and it follows you. There's a beautiful colored display up there that gives you quite a bit of information. The big live thing in the corner is pretty cool. Lets you know that this is actually active right now. You've got VU meter type, confidence meters. If you look kind of on the bottom, it's a little hard to see, but if you look across the bottom of the LCD, you're going to notice 8 numbers, 1, 2, 3 through 8. And that's to let you know that this particular program has 8 contact closures associated with it, and those are the tallies. So they'll let you know if a closure is active at a particular point in time. So you really get a nice visual indication of what's going on. Adrian mentioned the portals before, so he's going to get into that in more detail. But I guess one thing I'd really like to point out is everything that you can do on this display doesn't need to be done on this display. Okay, so the whole idea of I've got this little box and this little display and this little encoder, and I'm going to go menu diving to try to make it go. There's not a lot you do with this display. It's mostly for status and the actual interaction with the program. If there is any changes at all, is going to happen through the portal, and so that's via standard browser HTML5. So on the far right, you've got he calls it the channel dial. It's really the rotary encoder that. Well, I guess that's right. Channel dial. You would select the program that you want using that, and I guess if you needed to do any navigation from the front panel, you'd do it there. And then to the left of the channel dial, we've got some annunciators. They're kind of like the engine light on your car dashboard. You really don't want them to light up, so when they're all dark, it's good. And but if something were wrong, it would light up here, and of course, it would also alarm the portal. So you'd have alarms going off everywhere if something went wrong. And so the annunciators there are. See if I can do this from memory because I can't read them. Network fail. Power supply fail. Oh, you're gonna zoom in for me. Thank you, Suncast. Power fail, network fail, audio backup, display lock, and alert. And alert would be for anything that isn't covered in any of the above. Like some kind of a hardware failure or temperature warning or something like that. So again, good news when they're all dark. You really don't want them coming on. And if you could zoom out, we'll take a look at the back. Thank you. On the back, we have Studio Hub connectors, of course. What else would you have back there? And so we've got stereo.
What else would come out
outputs.
of the Angry Audio Factory?
Yeah, really. We don't even know how to use XLRs anymore. We've forgotten all of that. So we've got 4 stereo analog outs on Studio Hub connectors, and then we've got 4 stereo simultaneous AES EBU outputs on Studio Hub connectors. So analog, digital, country, western, pick your flavor. And then to the right of that, we've got 32 closures. Now, this is pretty cool. So you've got, remember, 4 programs, and each program can have 8 closures assigned to it. Okay? So most programs aren't going to need more than 1 or 2, or maybe 3. Baseball can be quite the thing, though. So I've heard it can get all the way up to 6 or 7. Well, we give you 8, and it's 8 for every channel. And if you look at that connector a little bit more closely, you'll notice that it looks familiar. It is the same form factor. In fact, it's the same pinout exactly as the 16 pin, or the 30. It's a DC37 connector. It's male, and it's exactly the same as the satellite receivers that are out there. So if you happen to have logic already wired up, you would unplug it from your receiver and you'd plug it into the quad decoder, and you'd be back on your way. So The two connectors to the right of it are main internet and backup internet, and these can be DHCP or static, depending on your use case. Uh, I will say this on the encode side, uh, it's really mandatory to have dual uh, internet,
Mm-hmm.
preferably disparate, like dissimilar internet.
Mm-hmm.
Two different types of internet, not two telcos, for example. And why do we require that? Well, on the program head end, if you think about it, if you lose the connection there, all of your affiliates don't get the program. So
Right.
that's a pretty big deal. On the decode side, it's recommended that you have two internet connections. But of course, that's kind of dependent on the station. Obviously, you're going to need a wideband internet connection for the main internet connection. And then when I'm talking to people, I always recommend the Max Connect wireless for the backup internet. It's
Mm.
it's actually kind of perfect for it, and the reason for it is because it's metered data. Now I understand they've got some unmetered plans coming and all that kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe you'd even use Max Connect for the main internet. But certainly as a backup internet, it's brilliant because it doesn't pull any data until it's required. If there's some problem with the main internet, and then it stops when the main internet comes back. So that's pretty nice. If you go all the way to the right, you're going to notice that we have an internal power supply that is it has a removable power cord, the standard AC power cord thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just to the left of you, you'll see a 12-volt barrel connector, and that's for backup power. So we offer I don't want to call it a wall wart because it's not. It's actually a line lump. It's like a brick with cables coming out of both ends. And so you'd plug that into perhaps another AC power source, and then you could use that for backup power. And so that's it. That's kind of the whole product. I guess I'll say one other thing, and then kind of hand it back to Adrian. One of the coolest things about this hardware is that it it's kind of, I don't want to say dumb. That's not quite the right term, but the hardware itself is getting all of its instructions from the software as a service. Basically, the
Mm.
Prism system owns this piece of hardware, and so there's really no configuration that happens at the local level. You're not in there flipping dip switches and trying to make things work and lining them up. And this becomes really evident twice in my world. The first is when I'm bringing them online for the very first time, and it's so cool because I just plug it in and I plug in the internet, and then I sit there and I watch it, and it goes through a couple of cycles, and then it's working. That's all I have to do in production, and that's also all the customer has to do too. So he just plugs it in, it finds the service, and it makes a connection, and the service does what it's supposed to do, pushes all the relevant information, all the settings into the box, and so the box is really part of the system. It's not separate from the system. It has no function, no utility outside of its use in the Prism system. And so why is that relevant to the user? Well, let's imagine that the box failed. Now I know it's angry audio, so no, the box will never fail. But in case the box failed, replacing it would be we FedEx you a new one, and you unplug the internet, and you unplug the power, and you unplug the relay connector if you have one there, and then you plug all three of those into the new box, and you just sit back, and about 60 seconds later, it's completely replaced, and you're back in business, and there's
Mm.
nothing for you to do. It's
Mm.
really amazing. It's kind of like the dream for everyone that's been in the broadcast equipment business is something like this, and I think honestly we've all kind of maybe missed it. I think we've all thought in terms of our products need to do everything. All of the intelligence needs to be in the product itself, and by allowing the software as a service to be the intelligence, all kinds of interesting things are possible. Kind of like you were saying earlier. How do I get behind the firewall? Software as a service takes care of that.
Yeah.
How do I configure this box? Software as a service takes care of that. So it's really new, and that's it. That's it for me. I don't have anything else to say. The rest of it's cool, and so you should talk to Adrian about that.
No, that
we,
was
we
great,
have
Catfish.
yeah, we have some more pictures to take a look at. And, Adrian, tell you what, if let's take no more than about 3 minutes here to talk about
Sure.
the next page of this document, which tries to show
Sure.
the portal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, yeah, it's exactly as I laid it out here. It's a portal, it's a dashboard that you would log into. It's a permissions level, as I mentioned a bit earlier, where depending on the role that you have, you will get access to particular items. So it's all browser based. You don't have to install a thing. We all know as engineers, we all get busy. We're in the car a lot. We're on the road a lot, and really wanted to make a design that could be used on any device. So, even a phone. So if you need to change a relay trigger, a closure, if you need to change the output channel on a program, you can do it all on the phone. It's all good. So it's really easy. You basically have the ability to do everything. You schedule all your shows, your programs. You can create a commercial triggering as well. You can upload audio. It's got a repository inside as well, so you can upload all of your commercial spots, all your imaging, assign triggers to them. And here's the beauty is, or here is the beauty is. I'm not a grammar guy, so I'll put that aside. The most important thing is I wanted the receiver to respond immediately to any change that an engineer would make, or a network. So if you create a new a trigger for a closure, it goes into the box immediately. So it's really a holistic approach that I wanted to take, and that's really what that is.
It's interesting because we're so used to boxes that have deep menus, and you might have to go 4, 5, 6 levels deep to get to the thing that you wanted to adjust. We're so used to that, and nothing wrong. For example, a satellite receiver was kind of a one-ended box. Now I realized the more later crop of them for the last few years, they want to be connected to the internet also for that management and monitoring and control, and maybe a backup feed. But we've always had to think of boxes as this is the end device, and if I'm going to make changes to it, I've got to make changes, from the front panel, and that's not what the front panel of this is really for. And I know you set the IP address or you set it to DHCP, but even if it's set to DHCP, your software as a service, the dashboard, will find it and talk to it and program it, right?
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it does. All you have to do on the front panel, as you said, is if you want to change the IP address, you can do it there, but that's all you have to do. The other thing I wanted to expand on too are the diagnostics. It's because these receivers have to sit there and they have to operate. Engineers, clients, all the networks, they need to know a status of the health of how everything is actually operating. So all the way from the portal to the network to the receiver, everybody's got visibility into what's going on. So I always am of the viewpoint, look, we've all been users, right? At some point of a technology. I cannot stand when something is complicated. To your point of going into a menu dive, it really drives me nuts. And I wanted to avoid that with this. I wanted to build the system that I would use. It's kind of that simple. And I want to go really easy, but have it be very powerful under the hood. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. And it took a long time, but I think we got there. We have another slide that, unless you want to take a break, I'm happy to explain it afterwards, or we could go here. So, okay.
Tell you what,
Sorry,
if we don't take a break, we're gonna run out of time. So let's take a quick break. We'll tease the slide and show people more of the control that is available, and that you don't have to squint at the front panel, to set things up. You do it from a browser, any browser. It looked to me like the picture you showed of the phone. It was also what's the word when your website adjusts for your screen size?
Oh, it's basically
Thank
a
you.
responsive design.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Suncast knows that. Hey, it's This Week in Radio Tech. I'm talking to Adrian Berkovitz, the founder of Adventure 33 and maker of the whole Prism ecosystem, and Mike Dosh, who is the founder of Angry Audio, and he is the maker of this box. And what's also interesting is, and Adrian, I'll need you to cover this too, you don't always need this box. So we're going to be talking about the possibility of doing what this thing does in software. Our show's brought to you in part by our friends at Angry Audio, and I want to show you something. Let's see what I can do here. This device right here, Catfish. Is it okay if we talk about this?
Let's talk about this, Kurt.
Okay, this VoIP phone gizmo, and this is the strangest form factor you will ever see. If you order a VoIP phone gizmo, you're going to get this, and you're going to think, what is that? Where's the rack screws? How do I mount this in the studio? And the answer is, it mounts to this Yealink phone. And if you take the Yealink phone, the stock Yealink phone, and you remove, what do you call this thing? It's not the bail, is it? There's a word for that.
Yeah, I call it the stand, but I guess you can call it whatever you wish. Yes.
All right, and you take and you put this on here. Look, it fits. It fits perfectly. And then you take the USB connection right here, and you plug it into the USB jack that's on the back of the phone. And then look what you have: power and USB digital audio. And look what's on the end of this. Let me hold it up a little bit closer here. You have caller audio and send audio on, of course, Studio Hub connectors right here. And it's so clean.
What else would they be? That's right.
What else would they be? That's right. So, Mike Dosh, what's this doing? This VoIP phone gizmo?
Well, this is kind of a replacement for the classic hybrid, and but this is a VoIP replacement for the classic hybrid. So the combination of that device, that gizmo mounted to the back of that phone, that whole thing, is a single line phone device, and so you could, using VoIP service, put callers on the air with that interface, and they sound fantastic. They really do. In fact, if your caller, or you could, this might not be your callers, but you might arrange with the governor, for example, to have an interview, and he's got a SIP phone on his end, and you got a SIP phone on your end, and it'll negotiate what they call HD voice, which is actually G722, if you recall that from the phone world, which is 50 hertz to 7 kilohertz. So rather than the phone call sounding like this, you get the phone call that sounds like this, and your quality goes way up. And you do that with a phone instead of a codec in this case. So it's a pretty cool product. We also bundle this with Max Phone service from Max Connect. So there's a version of this.
Yeah.
There's a version of this that it includes the phone and 1 year of Max Phone service, which is VoIP phone service, from Max Connect. So they configure the phone and everything for you. So you just get the whole thing as a plug and play device, and you hook it up to your console, and Bob's your uncle. So, and I don't know what that means, by the way.
It sounds like you don't have to be a SIP VoIP expert to implement this, because if you're not an expert, and maybe you don't have a SIP VoIP phone system at your broadcast facility yet, or you don't know how to tie into it, or maybe it won't accept a Yealink phone, you can get this bundled, the phone and this interface, and a year of Max Phone service, all for one price.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And if you do like playing around with VoIP phones, and many of our customers, but by the way, I have to tell you a story about this particular thing. I announced it on Facebook with a lousy picture. The next day, we were back ordered 20 of them after introducing it, and I had people yelling because they couldn't get them quick enough. And one guy in particular said, "But I'm going on the air this week, and I have new studios, and I need these right now." And I'm thinking, well, what were you going to use before this thing even came into existence? You didn't even know about it one day ago, and now all of a sudden you're it was amazing. And so people are really liking it, and many engineers are already comfortable with SIP phones,
Yeah.
VoIP phones, and for them this is this is easy as pie. They just buy the phone, buy the gizmo, snap it in place. 10 minutes later, they've got themselves a broadcast phone system.
Cool. Nice. That's available from Angry Audio, and I guess through your normal dealer channels, right?
That's right. Who's your favorite dealer?
Yeah. Who's your favorite dealer? Who's your favorite dealer? Call them and ask for a VoIP phone gizmo from Angry Audio. Hey, we got one other thing to talk about, and that is a Max Connect wireless service, which we've already mentioned as working in conjunction with this Prism thing. Remember, the Prism has two IP paths on the back. It's got Network A and Network B, and probably, I mean, I'm sure you already have internet at your broadcast facility. Maybe the internet you have is not that adequate. Maybe hopefully it's not still DSL. Hopefully it's fiber. But anyway, if you need it for your main or you need it for your backup, Max Connect is a great choice. Suncast is going to, there we go. They've got new services that they're rolling out now. Ultra Max 5G, Max Connect Essential, and Multimax. And these are different levels of service. You need to talk to the people at Max Connect to figure out which one is the right one for you. But it's all still prioritized cellular, wireless data service, and most plans give you a static IP address, which is great for example, whitelisting or VPNs. So you can really be secure using Max Connect. That was the whole idea to begin with. And it works with the major carriers like AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon, also with Rogers in Canada. Max Connect Wireless is just an amazing service, and so many broadcasters, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe it's over 1,000 now, are using Max Connect service. By the way, it can also be linked up with Starlink or Viasat to provide an extra level of backup and redundancy for places that absolutely positively must have connectivity. And I'm thinking transmitter sites, or maybe it's your studio. So the other thing about Max Connect, as they say on their website here, real people, real support, and it's their guarantee. I recently deployed a Max Connect wireless modem to a transmitter site in Hawaii where we couldn't get any other service. And you know what? I had a non-technical person in Hawaii that was going to put this in. I asked the Max Connect support team to pre-configure for exactly what I needed for the LAN IP address. Of course, they gave me a static IP address, and I needed a port forward, not in use now, but will be in use in the future. And hey, if I didn't go out there, it wasn't going to happen, except Max Connect pre-configured for me. Check it out on the web. It's Max Connect, MAXXKONNECT.com, Max Connect, and ask about their wireless service. Thanks a lot to Max Connect and to Angry Audio for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. Okay, gentlemen, let's power on through. Let's look at this graphic we were looking at, and Adrian was starting to describe what is, test program and group and program and event name and channel. Sounds complicated, but it's not.
No, it really isn't. So imagine you are an engineer and you need to change the channel for the audio output. For whatever reason, let's say you've got a program on channel 1, you need to change it on channel 2. Typically, as we all know, it's kind of hard to do that. It takes a long time. You have to menu dive, you got to do all these things. It takes a long time. And if you're on the road, you're in the car, and you got to do all these adjustments, it's going to be a pain. So all you need to do is you can imagine in the dashboard, you'll have a calendar view there of all of your events and all your actual programs. You click on the one that you, so let's say you've got a program that's coming tonight. And you're like, oh, shoot, I need to change the output. Okay. Well, you click on the event. On the right there, you've got a channel drop down. You change it to channel 2 or 3, and you close the window. You're done. That's it. The box will take it in a few seconds. It gets updated, and the audio will now come out on that channel immediately. The other use case that we wanted to hyper focus on was the closures. So we just got a couple here as an example. But let's say, for example, for whatever reason, you need to change a relay channel or a pin closure from, let's say, relay 2 to relay 3. Again, it's just the drop down. You choose the value in the drop down, you hit close, the box will take it in about 3 seconds. There's nothing to reboot, there's nothing to reconfigure, it's just the drop down. So, to my point a bit earlier, right, you can do it on your phone. Really easy. So these were just two use cases I wanted to highlight for engineers, because I know the pain that everybody's really suffering when it comes to changing channels and triggers and closures, and it's a bit of a pain. So I wanted to basically unpain it.
So earlier you talked about role-based permissions, and so it looks like what you were just talking about. Hey, I want to change where a closure comes out, or want to change where a channel comes out on my Prism. That sounds like things that an engineer would do. It doesn't take the network, that you're taking the show from to do that. You can do that yourself, right?
That's exactly it. It. You can. So the network or the head end can empower the local engineer however they wish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understood. Okay. Wow. Obviously, there's importance to having an A path and a B path. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask about. You said that you can monitor the health of my box. And one day I was asking Mike Dosh, I said, what happens if the box overheats? I don't know. It's got a little fan. And what if the fan fails and the temperature gets too high? You guys know about that. It'll tell you what the temperature is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not only does
exactly.
Adrian knows exactly how hot the boxes are everywhere. He's got a map. It's really cool. He's got this map where he can look at every box that's in existence out there on the network and tell you exactly what temperatures they are. Yeah, literally. But more than that, there's remember that alert on the front panel that comes on to let you know that something's wrong, and there's warnings inside the portal. So, but the cool thing, sorry, no pun intended, is that the program originator can know. And I think that's great. So the network can know that an affiliate has an issue, because how many times have we seen an alarm light up someplace on a piece of equipment and no one notices it for 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
So now the originator would actually know, hey, there's an issue out here. Let's deal with it.
Exactly. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm looking at this map here, and I'm thinking, whatever network this is, they need an affiliate in Utah, or maybe in Nevada. No, they have one in Utah. They need. Oh, well, I guess they have Las Vegas. Okay, there's a big swath of Central Texas where they need an affiliate.
Right.
What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is basically a glimpse into the diagnostics, where every time you hover over, or if you take action on a pin, you'll see all the diagnostics of the hardware itself. So anywhere from, as you mentioned, right, the temperature, the RAM usage, the disk usage. It'll also tell you the speed of the internet that you've got. So we're sampling the internet speed, and this is it's not just a speed test. This is our own custom version of a speed test, but it's our own, meaning. So the boxes are talking to our technology and the infrastructure, and it's assessing the actual download speed. So you can get alerted either by an email or by SMS if your threshold is too high or too low. So and that actually spans across all the diagnostics. So the internet speed, the temperature, the usage of disk, etc. So you'll know when there's a problem as soon as it happens, essentially. But I view that, the ability to report back a heat map of all of your devices, I think, is really critical. It'll give you a glimpse into like any issues, even at a regional level. there could be public internet issues in a regional like a level itself. So if you've got, as you said, an A and a B, it will find the best path available. And
gotcha. Yeah.
right. And
Yeah,
it's really critical to know that, because if the speed of the internet is too low on a particular port, then you can turn it off. So that's important to know as well. So speed diagnostics to us is really important. So we want to report that, and we want to make it available to everybody to see.
Wow, so it sounds like there's a lot of data here that can be aggregated and viewed easily. Guys, we've got a time for maybe one more quick question or topic after this spot break. One more break to talk about, and when we come back, I'd like to understand. We talked about the Prism as being a program distribution in the context of larger networks, and we know names like Premier. And then there's a number of sports networks. There's all different networks. But I'm wondering, is this appropriate for a smaller network where you might have a state news network? Some states have those, some don't. There's other more regional program distributions, and with satellite, you're kind of covering North America. And I'm wondering if a more targeted solution like this is really the smart thing for a regional network, like a Southeastern Conference sports network or something else like that. Anyway, we're going to got to take a quick break. This Week in Radio Tech. We'll be back with a quick short segment at the end. Our show is brought to you in part by Broadcasters General Store and this amazing product called Vox Pro.
Hey, what's happening? St. John here, coming to you from Command Central, and wanted to tell you about the absolute best partner you can have in radio. I'm talking about, boom, Wheatstone's Vox Pro. Now, a lot of folks have used previous versions of Vox Pro, all awesome, but I want to tell you about some of my favorite new features in 7. And for folks who've never used Vox Pro before, I'm about to tell you why it's an absolute game changer and essential for really fast-paced multi-element radio. Lots of different audio software out there. Why Vox Pro? Because it was designed for radio. It's the only software designed to do what we needed to do, which is record, edit, playback in real time. When I say lightning fast, I'm going to show you how fast you can edit stuff up in Vox Pro right now. So literally 3 clicks on the controller, mark left, mark right, everything that gets marked, you hit delete, it goes away. It's literally that fast. So we're going to take this part right here. Boom. From caller 9 to him saying, I'm ready.
Ready for that secret sound.
Boom. All of that stuff, hit delete, it goes away. Here's your edit.
You are tackling secret sound, caller 9. I'm ready, St. John.
So one of the best features of version 7, this is awesome. It's effects macros, and you can literally put a chain of effects together so that instead of having to normalize a phone bit and then use noise reduction on it and EQ it and all that, you can literally build a chain. One button, this one's called call right here. I just click that. All of those processes happen instantaneously. Literally saves 80% of your editing and cleanup time. Final thing that I love about Vox Pro, and there's so much more to get into, but one of my favorite things, you can load it on a laptop. I've literally done my show from a hotel room in Armenia to the conference room at, this was fun, jury duty. Great thing, no one could tell the difference. Vox Pro makes it totally easy. Telling you, if you're looking for the best on-air partner, call my friends at Wheatstone, ask them about Vox Pro, and you will be glad you did.
And you'll be glad you contacted Broadcasters General Store to get yours. You can go to their website at bgs.cc, or call them. They'd love to talk on the phone at 352-622-7700. Can't tell you how many times I've dialed that phone number. First started dialing that number in the presence of the great Sam Phillips, the guy who discovered first recorded Elvis Presley, and when I'm building radio stations for him. So been dialing that number for quite a while. Hey, we got a quick a question and maybe an answer. Wow, we will have an answer from Adrian and Mike. I'm wondering about adoption. I was curious about is this appropriate for smaller and medium networks? But I think you're starting the big time here. Adrian, what's the story on your premier customer?
Yeah, we do have an early adopter that we've been working with for quite a while now. Not really allowed to say who they are just yet, obviously, but we are more than likely going to be able to let people know by the by the NAB time. We're very blessed to have them as a partner, and they've got potential for over 1,000 affiliates, and they're really enjoying this, and it's going exactly as it's expected. It's going as expected, right? But I'll be able to tell more a little bit later. But we're very happy with the results, and we're starting to deploy as we speak.
Awesome. Mike Dash, did you have a final comment, maybe about the launch partner or pushing out a lot of receiver boxes?
Well, I can't tell you who it is either. That if that's where you're
Okay.
going with this, Adrian won't let me. He would smack me. But yeah, we're ready. We're tooled up and ready to build. In fact, we're building what I guess about 50 of them right now as we speak. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this
it's really exciting stuff.
I'm looking forward to this, and there's some reasons why satellite is becoming more expensive. We didn't really go into, but one of them I want to say is you know how the C band has gotten squeezed first from the bottom and now proposing from the top, and this spectrum, not the spectrum from space, but the same spectrum terrestrially, which the two can't work at the same time. The phone carriers have a lot of money that they're willing to spend. And so there's, I guess, what you'd call an opportunity cost for the satellite operators that, look, broadcast can keep paying us this relatively low price, or the carriers are willing to offer us a lot of money to get out of this part of the spectrum business. And that's got to look enticing. So the point is there's pressure. There's pressure to make changes. And I'm delighted to see that Adventure 33, Adrian, and you, Mike, are responding to this pressure with an alternate solution that really looks promising. I think one of the interesting things is on your maybe your IP path A or your path B might end up being Starlink, which is coming from the sky, although it's not C-band. It's a different band. Yeah,
Exactly. It's ironic, right? But yeah.
We've got to run. I turn into a pumpkin in about 3 minutes. So, Adrian and Mike, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you at NAB and getting further explanation, and maybe you'll tell us who the launch partner is.
I thank you too. It's been a pleasure. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
okay.
Thanks for having us, Kurt.
Take care, guys. Big thanks to Suncast for engineering and producing today's show. Really appreciate you, Suncast. And we got to go. We'll see you next week on This Week in Radio Tech. Bye-bye.